약 29,743명이 거주하며 다양한 비즈니스가 펼쳐지고 있는 나일스시. 28일 현재 기준 292명이 코비드-19 확진 판정을 받고 치료 중에 있습니다. 28일과 29일 하루 새 15명이 증가한 수치입니다.
Fortunately, our first responders have not been majorly affected by COVID, and so we have proper personnel. All of our municipality buildings are closed except for emergency purposes. Most everybody in the 300 full-time people that we have are working part-time or from home full-time. So village businesses is proceeding as usual in many respects, but not completely. This is not a normal time, as you can.
앤드류 프리즈빌로 시장은 지난 20일 나일스시에서 마스크 착용을 의무화하는 행정명령을 발동했습니다. 이는 바이러스로부터 개인을 보호하는 것뿐만 아니라 지역 확산을 막고자 함이라고 앤드류 시장은 강조했습니다.
Well, we're giving the grocery stores the authority to refuse service. That's the first thing. So it's self-policed. But I'll tell you honestly, and I'm going to share this with you, I haven't spoken to anybody about this, but most recently, last evening and today, I had two complaints from residents, and they were very angry that the stores themselves were not stopping people from coming in. Some are, but a lot aren't. So when I get off of this interview, I'm going to talk to my village manager, my police and fire, and see if there's a way that we can make this less voluntary and more demanding upon the store owners. And we may even ask some of our volunteers. You know, Niles has a very great volunteer police department. Which are auxiliaries, which support the police department. We may ask them if they would help us to enforce this by standing outside of the store and stopping people. And then we may tell the stores also that if you don't do this, they're at risk of losing their business license. We could still do that. I don't want to do it. I would prefer that it would be voluntary, but it doesn't seem to be working that well.
나일스시에는 나일스 요양원과 H마트, 아시마트, 시카고 푸드 본사 등 많은 한인들이 비즈니스를 하는 시라고 소개하며 특히 당뇨 같은 기저질환이 있는 사람의 경우 감염률이 심각하다고 설명했습니다. 쿡카운티 보건국 자료에 따르면 나일스시는 아시안이 53명 확진으로 19%, 히스패닉이 39명으로 14%, 백인이 98명으로 34%의 감염률을 보이고 있으며 연령대별로는 80대 이후가 62명으로 가장 많습니다. 60대, 20대, 70대 순으로 높은 분포를 보이고 있습니다.
You know, we have a senior center, we have a fitness gym center, we have family services. We deal with alcoholism and jobless and truant kids. We have a free bus. We don't have a certified health department. Aside from inspecting restaurants, we don't have somebody to inspect the nursing homes, as many other villages don't. So what we do is we rely upon the state of Illinois and Cook County to do something about it. Now, specifically with the COVID situation, I'm going to say that our first responders, our fire, when they go into a nursing home and they notice violations, we report those violations, those COVID violations, to the Illinois Department of Public Health and also, to Cook County, because they're on the front line. So we report those violations when we see them. But unfortunately, one of the things that Niles doesn't have is a certified health department.
나일스시는 비즈니스 라이센스 요금을 유예해 줄 예정이며 주 정부의 가이드라인을 따라 재오픈을 결정한다고 전했습니다.
Niles has a great economic reserve, but it's not allocated for businesses. But what we are doing is what the village is providing relief to businesses in the form of a 60-day deferment of payment of business license fees, so they're not in violation. And we can extend that. It may go to 80 days or it may go to 120 days. but we're deferring any payment for license fees, food and beverage taxes. Of course, they're not there anyway, except for carryouts. And we're prorating the liquor license fees so that when we reopen those liquor stores and bars and restaurants, those fees will be prorated, that they won't pay for 12 months, but something less. And also we're prorating our video gaming fees down. But having said all that, I think we're doing as well as most. But a village of our size doesn't have the ability, like the federal government, to allocate millions of dollars or billions of dollars to support the suffering of the business community. And they are suffering, believe me.
앤드류 프리즈빌로 시장은 한국의 성공적인 사례를 이야기하며 더 많은 테스트를 할 수 없는 현실을 토로했으며 현재까지는 시청을 언제 열지도 미정이라고 밝혔습니다. 아울러 조속한 상황 정리가 이루어지길 소망한다고 밝혔습니다.
I throw great compliments to the government of South Korea because they're teaching us that if you want to be prepared, you have to be prepared to test. If I'm going to open up the village hall, I have to test. And South Korea has showed me that's what it's all about. And that's how I would go forward with this. Even Niles, if we're to prepare for the next virus or anything like that, we need to think ahead of it and do what perhaps South Korea has done, be prepared with testing. There's great talk now in my government about how do we reopen. Well, obviously, we're going to reopen by the governor's guidelines. That's our first thing. But we have ourselves to do some things to do. And one of those things I told the village manager is, if we're going to open up the village hall and we're going to let our people come in there, we have to protect them. Protect them, number one. But also, we have to make sure that we test them. Because if we bring 10 people into the second floor of the village hall and one of them has COVID, then the others are likely to get it also. So we have to open up strategically, and that means testing. More information is needed. I would suggest that the community goes to theniles.com/COVID.
지난 2월 미국 내 첫 사망자를 발생시키면서 미 전역에 퍼져 사망자를 속수무책으로 배출해내고 있는 코로나 바이러스. 한인 동포들 사이에서도 확진자가 나오면서 생명을 위협하고 있습니다. 이러한 때에 개인들은 보다 철저한 사회적 거리두기와 위생관리로, 기관단체들은 철저한 방역, 그리고 대형 마켓에서는 무엇보다 사람의 생명을 먼저 생각하는 정직하고 철저한 자체 방역을 당부해봅니다.